Hello, people. My name is Ngozi Agwaziam, and you're welcome to the show, Cultural Perspectives, the show that brings you different cultures of the world, the show that brings the world to ASU and brings ASU to the world. Today, we've got something really nice packaged for you, and we're actually bringing ASU to the world. Today, we're going to be talking about the Multicultural Center of ASU, Arkansas State University. And to take us on this, we have Miss Naya Blair, who's going to take us the director of the center. Miss Naya, you're so welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, yeah. Miss Naya, can you please just give us a rundown about yourself? Just tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Naya Blair, and I am the Assistant Dean of Students here at ASU. And part of my role is overseeing directing the Multicultural Center. I'm from West Memphis, Arkansas. However, unfortunately, I didn't go to ASU for undergrad. I went to the University of Central Arkansas and graduate school at the University of Arkansas. And then I had the opportunity to work at LSU for 4 years, working in their Multicultural Center. And now I'm here at ASU.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So that means you've got a lot of experience working with cultures and all of that stuff. So how long have you been in ASU?
Been here this is my 7th week.
7th week. Oh, she's so fresh.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what do you think about the center since you got in here?
There's a lot of work to be done.
Right?
But it's very exciting opportunities. It's time to really make some change and create a legacy here at ASU for the Multicultural Center and for just diversity in general here at ASU. So it's an exciting time to be here.
Okay, so when you talk about diversity and cultures, how much of cultures and diversities would you say you know?
I mean, I'm not an expert in a lot of different cultures. I think I am an expert in the area of understanding, learning, and growing.
Right.
And I think that anyone who works in multicultural affairs or just supports diversity has to be open to that.
Right.
For ASU, I think it's very unique, that has been very different from my experiences, is that having international students here is something very new. So everyone's like, oh, and so from my undergraduate experience to my time at LSU, international students were just a part of the campus environment and campus culture. So while here at ASU it's growing and it's becoming a part of the culture, it was not a shock for me, as it's for a lot of people here on this campus. And so when I work, my background in diversity has been to working with groups such as, and which represents the Multicultural Center as well, African Americans, Latinos, Asians, women, and the LGBT community, the lesbian, gay, bisexual community. I've not had as much experience in working with the international student population because at my previous institutions, we've had international culture centers and we've had staff devoted to working with international students, but yet we all work together to support one another in our programs.
Talking about diversities, tell me, what do you really love about diversities in cultures?
I think just the differences, and I think the differences are what makes us unique, and the opportunity to learn from each other, to grow and to experience different things, and everybody's a part of diversity. And it's challenging because I have to help people see that they are a part of diversity, because a lot of people don't think that. They don't think that they have a lot to offer, but that's not the case. And so it's great to be able to grow and learn, and I'm still growing and learning. Like I said, I'm very good at what I do, but I know that learning and growing is an everyday process till you die.
Right. Till you
Till
die.
you die.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Till you die.
Yeah.
We'll learn every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Miss Naya Blair on the show, Cultural Perspective, and we're talking on ASU Multicultural Center. We'll be right back. We'll toss the break right now, and we'll be right back. Just stay tuned.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do!
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
Come on! You can do it!
Only you can prevent wildfires.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.
Welcome back to the show Cultural Perspectives, and we're talking about ASU Multicultural Center with Nia Blair, and Nia Blair is taking us through about the Multicultural Center. So, Miss Nia Blair, tell us what's about the Multicultural Center? What do you do in the Multicultural Center?
Well, we do a lot of things. Our mission is to provide educational, cultural, and social programs and initiatives that support student success for all students, but with a specific concentration on underrepresented and minority student populations. And those populations consist of African Americans, Latinos, Asian women, and the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community. Now, again, the space is for all students, and we welcome all students, and we even work a lot with international student services. But my area looks at diversity from those 5 populations. So those are our 5 areas that we target. I look at diversity, but those are our 5 areas that we target. 5 populations that we target.
Okay, when you talk about non-traditional students, how do they really fit into this?
Well, non-traditional student services is another part of my role as assistant dean. It's a separate area. I'm just housed in the Multicultural Center, so that's where they can come to seek services from me. And I was told that non-traditional services used to have its own office, but it's kind of taken various shapes and forms in the past few years. Right. So there's a non-traditional student lounge on the 2nd floor in the Multicultural Center. Me working in the Multicultural Center, I will support and help non-traditional students, but that's another part of my job responsibilities. So we have separate programs and separate initiatives to target our non-traditional students. It just happens that I work in the Multicultural Center, and this is where my office is, but that's another population that I work with.
Oh, right, wonderful. So with international students, how do you try to bring international students into the Multicultural Center?
Well,
reach out to them.
Telling them about our services like I tell other across campus, and working with key contacts who work specifically with international students. I've also had the opportunity to form a minority student org roundtable. Well, I mean, with presidents or vice presidents of a student organization, of all minority student organizations on this campus. We actually have our 2nd meeting on Wednesday. And right as of now, the Chinese student organization, the Indian student organization are represented, and hoping that other international students will be represented as well. So I work and help, again, with international student services, but I primarily focus on those 5 populations.
Okay, some students, sometimes they say, when you go into the the Multicultural Center, most times you see African American students, and it feels like the center is tilted towards the Black Americans, the African American, and I don't know why that is.
Well, it's very interesting because when I first came here 7 weeks ago, I did my own informal survey and asked people, do they know where the Multicultural Center is and who utilizes, and do they see it's a space for them? African Americans felt that was a space for international students. And I did not see African American students in the Multicultural Center. No one actually was in the Multicultural Center. And every now and then I saw international students that would come in. So I think this is a misconception, and I think it goes way back to years ago when ASU, diversity for ASU was just black and white. There were no international students. There were none or if any Latino students or Asian students. So when you talked about diversity or seeing diversity on this campus, you just saw black and white people. And so then the perception is only black students utilize the center. But that's incorrect. But have I targeted African American students more now since I've arrived? Yes, because they are one of the 5 populations. Right. And outside of international students, they are the largest minority student population here at ASU. Right. And in particularly African American males, there are some issues, particularly with our African American males not being successful here at ASU. And the Multicultural Center, me working there, and the services that we provide are to help all students, but particularly those 5 groups and African American students. So is it unlikely that someone's going to see a black student when they walk in? No, it's not unlikely, but I think that's okay. Yeah. And I think that we have to look at how we look at diversity in people for their own biases or lack of knowledge. I think that just African Americans being in a space is not good or it's not a part of diversity, and that's incorrect. But on a given day, I have African American students, I have international students, and I'm having Latino students in there, and the LGBT community has been utilizing the space. So it's really interesting, to hear that comment, but I understand where it comes from. But the space is for everyone.
Okay, if I have a misconception about a minority group, maybe an organization or something, can I come to you maybe like if I have a misconception about the Gay Lesbian Society or the Chinese Association, can I come to you and ask questions?
Yes, and I think then the space is for that. We provide a comfortable home away from home for students. We are a resource center with books, magazines, artifacts. We're getting magazines about the various cultures. Me being the director, I'm a resource to have those conversations and to have that dialogue. Soon we'll have a computer lab. We are allowing students to use that as a meeting space. If an organization wants to hold their meetings there, and for faculty and staff to use it as a classroom space. So the Multicultural Center is a resource space. So you can have that conversation, and if I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer. Or I'll pull in people, from different cultures. So it's a really good place on campus to come and learn about differences and cultures and expand yourself. And that's one of the things we're hoping that the center will do more of.
Yeah, when you just said a home away from home, you're making me wonder if I walk into the center, if I'm going to get some Nigerian food to eat. Because you said it's home away from home.
Okay, well, let me clarify. We all have definitions of home away from home. But our definition is that homely feeling, being comfortable, being able to be who you are, being able to possibly see your culture represented in the center. We are still looking to get more artifacts, and I've encouraged particularly international students when you go home to come and bring a piece so that we can contribute to that to the Multicultural Center. So again, I work with these 5 populations, we're targeting them, but we're also wanting them to learn more about other cultures as well within those 5 populations, but also the international student population. And I just had a meeting earlier today about International Week and how I can help the 5 populations that I work with be able to learn more about international students and vice versa.
Okay, is there any financial attachment to international students bringing some of their artifacts here?
Financial attachment?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Like, do you provide some finance to them to buy those things?
Well, no, because I'm not advertising. People go out and buy all this stuff and trying to give me the check. No, I'm saying if they would like. I've met some great gentlemen as part of the Chinese Student Association, and and they've given me a gift as a thank you. I've actually gotten 2 of them. And so I just said, because when they see our artifacts, we don't have a lot of authentic artifacts, which really bothers me. And so, again, nothing expensive or anything like that, because, no, I don't have any financial way to pay someone for that.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be a pleasure, to go to your country and bring
them
something
back, and then,
that's really going to be an honor, Well, it's Cultural Perspective Show with Ngozi Agwaziam, and we're talking about the ASU Multicultural Center. We'll toss the break, and we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Journalism is the first rough draft of history.
Journalism
is in fact history on the run.
Journalism is organized gossip.
Journalists are like dogs.
Whenever anything moves, they begin to bark.
A herald is an official messenger being news.
A person views
as a sign that something is about to happen.
A good newspaper
talking to itself.
My name is
Sarah,
Jared,
Raven,
Sam,
Anna,
Trey,
Whitney.
Dula.
Molly. And I am the voice of the Herald.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. Now, we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
How you feel? How you feel?
I'm feeling good. Spin me, spin me.
Got you.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Mom, can I have $1?
Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed.
It's not here.
Check the dining room.
No.
What about your sister's room?
It's not there either.
The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet?
There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
quick view of the Multicultural Center, and I hope you enjoyed that. Ms. Nia Blair is taking us through on the Multicultural Center. So, Ms. Nia, I'm just curious to ask, how long has the center been in ASU? How long has the center been existing?
Actually, the center is only about a year old, so fairly new.
Oh.
And it's great that ASU, we have a multicultural center, but for some time there wasn't a professional staff working in the center. But it's still fairly new. They've always had, well, not always, but for some time they've had someone as assistant dean for multicultural affairs, but not actual space. So it's great that we have the space, but we're really behind when we look at other peer institutions because their spaces have been on their campus since the 90s or 70s and 80s. So it's something very new to ASU, and so trying to get people to understand what the center is, what we do, who we work with is still very new, and that's why our collection of artifacts and books are still small, and we're trying to grow that because the center is fairly new.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to do there. There's a lot of growth.
A lot of growth, yeah. So it's a good time to be there and take advantage of that.
And thank God you're here, so you're going to make that happen.
Make it happen.
Sure. So how do you try to bring, how do you try to teach like the African American international culture and teach international culture, American cultures?
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to do that as much. Again, 7 weeks. This is my 7th week working here. But I'm going to do that, and I've had that conversation with students about being open. I think conversations need to take place. A lot of people, we just don't talk to one another to learn from each other, and we don't take the opportunity to go to something that is not familiar to us. Right. And so really encouraging students to do that, and then having avenues of bringing students together. Right. So that's why I started the round table and inviting international students and all other minority students so that they'll put together a year full of events that they're doing so they can support one another, so they can collaborate with each other, and just to understand what each other goes through as an ASU student, as an ASU student leader, and as an ASU student that may represent a different culture than the other.
What kind of events do you do?
We had the meet and greet, the Multicultural Center meet and greet, and that will be an annual event. We had that last Thursday. Almost 200 students, faculty, and staff attended. Great attendance. And it was kind of misquoted in the Herald that it was for international students only. No. So that's not the case. Again, we're still trying to get our brand and market out there that who we service and how we service. But October is LGBT History Month. And so we have a month full of celebrations. Last night we had a panel, If You Really Knew Me, looking into the life of a student or students who identify as LGBT. We'll also have a lecture series every Wednesday, and this Wednesday is going to be called The Education of Coming Out, so really learning about the LGBT community and the coming out process. The second one will be about how to be a good ally, how to support those that identify as LGBT, and the third one is resiliency and hope, looking at things that have happened to help support the LGBT community in the future. One thing with LGBT History Month, as well as the other cultural celebrations that we will have throughout the year, is we want to get people to understand about the culture, to educate themselves about the culture and people who identify with the culture and learn. And I think particularly with LGBT History Month, people assume that they have to identify, but we identify in the fact that you want to be who you are and being able to do that without feeling judged. And so LGBT History Month is about being able to understand, respect, and learn about other cultures, just as Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, Asian American Celebration, and all those other cultural months that we will likely have sometime in the near future here.
Awesome. It's still Cultural Perspective. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
to kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Hi, it's Elmo.
And I'm Secretary Kathleen Sebelius.
Elmo and Secretary Sebelius are here to tell you how to stay healthy this flu season.
First, you learn to sneeze into the bend of your arm like this.
Oh, very good. Always wash your hands really well.
And remember to have a plan in case your child is too sick for school, so someone can stay home with them until they get better.
Stay healthy, America. Rosita, did you know there's a right way to sneeze?
Let's show them, Elmo.
Yeah, got it. When you feel like your nose needs to give it at you, this is how you act, this is what you do.
Lift your arm up high, bend it toward your face.
Sneeze right there in the bendy place.
Achoo! Achoo!
You can do it with ease.
Achoo! Achoo!
That's the right way to sneeze.
Thank you.
To learn more about preventing flu, visit flu.gov.
Welcome back. So, Ms. Nia, what do you hope to accomplish with the Multicultural Center?
Well, I hope to get people to utilize the center, everyone to utilize the center and know of its resources, and for us to collaborate with others across campus and put on excellent programmings that inform the campus, that bring new perspectives, and that are enjoyable. And I hope to be one of the top multicultural centers, not just in the state, in the region, and the country, being able to provide great services and really be on cutting edge of things that relate to multiculturalism and diversity on college campuses.
Okay, do you in any way sponsor organizations?
I work closely with organizations, for example, BSA, the Black Student Association. I'm the advisor for OLA, the Hispanic Outreach and Latin Association, which was formerly known as SALSA. So I am their advisor. I work heavily with Gay Straight Alliance. So forming the roundtable, so not necessarily being the advisor or sponsoring everyone, but working closely with all minority student organizations on campus.
Awesome, awesome. So what makes an organization fit to be sponsored by the center?
Coming and have a conversation, yes, and to see like what do you want sponsored, or you know, what is your definition of sponsor? But sponsoring in my book, it means a lot of things such as support, advertisement, and those are things that we automatically will do for student organizations who come and let us know. When we get to the finances, we have a conversation and we might be able to sponsor anything.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's really a pleasure having you on the show. I mean, you were awesome, and I mean, there was just a lot that I guess a lot of people didn't know about the center, so thank you so much on that. We hope to have you some other time on the show.
Yes, please, and hope y'all come and visit the space.
Right, right. It's Cultural Perspective, and we just talked about ASU Multicultural Center. Next week, we've got something really, really great planned out for you, and you just don't want to miss that. It's something really, really mind-blowing. And just stay hooked back there with us, and we'll always be there for you. Thank you for being there. I remain Ngozi Agwaziam.